3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to the SWISD Premier Athletics Podcast, the only podcast you should care about. This is Scoreboard. I'm your man, Brandon Medina. We have your athletic director, Peter Wagner, in the building as well. Mr. Wagner, ugly day, but how are you feeling nonetheless?
I'm feeling pretty excited, man. Little trip to Brownsville, Texas, and coming up, and great times ahead.
Hopefully a trip to state.
I feel a trip to Austin next weekend, I'm thinking.
That's what we're excited about. This is going to be jam-packed with some regional coverage. We have soccer, tennis, and we have golf to get into, and then we will also drop a few dates for you guys to be following along. It's still a softball season and baseball season, and a big shout-out as well to some of our power lifters. So a jam-packed show, but for the most part, it's going to be a quick one and talk a little bit more about some of those regional contestants as they continue on to the playoffs. Where do you want to start, Coach? Do you want to go?
Well, let's give some shout-outs to the people who last week we talked about some hopefuls and everything like that in tennis and golf and things. So let's start with golf real quick.
Cool.
We got
it's the Masters.
It's
so only right.
Touche, sir.
Only right.
Touche. So we got a returner to the regional tournament in golf, and that's Savannah Blanco out in at Southwest High School.
Best name, not to also Polo Salazar. Is that his name?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Two really good names right there.
Hipolito. Yep,
So,
you got it. Yep.
Great job, Savannah Blanco.
Yep, great job. And we'll talk about polo some more in the next couple of weeks. But in Southwest tennis, we had our girls tennis team got second. They had 3 girls at the time. They got second overall. And we some shout outs to Solangel Perez, who got runner up in a regional qualifier. She got a playback and won. She lost to the lady that won the championship.
Okay.
So she's sitting in having to play for third and fourth, won that one, then played back and got the second.
Nice.
So a lot of grit right there. And then the ones we talked about last week, the favorites of the doubles tournament in girls, Miriam Medina and Lucero Alvarado. I tried to roll my R.
You tried your best.
I tried.
I wasn't going to call you on it.
Yeah, I'm usually better than that.
You got Medina right, and that's also important, so I'm glad.
You know what? Touche, sir. She actually, a Medina that actually is going to regionals.
An athletic Medina.
Good job, Miriam.
You don't find those all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, great job, Miriam. Way to represent because Brandon's not.
Solid job, cousin that I don't know.
Yeah,
great
exactly.
job.
There you go. They are district champions, by the way.
There we go. Celebrations.
You know what I'm talking about? Let's go.
Round of applause.
District champions, regional qualifiers. And then we had Roy Cruz and Nick Manzano, who ended up in fourth place and third place, and they're also regional alternates. And so great job to the Dragon tennis team on all their stuff. And at Legacy, we had another set of district champions in mixed doubles. We had Legacy, and this is Dante and Kiki, who had who won the championship, regional qualifiers and everything. And then we have Rayanne De La Rosa and Ian Quintero, who are 2023 District 28 5A mixed doubles runners-up.
Wow.
So Legacy went 1-2 in mixed doubles, first and second and everything. So great job to them. And so I need to I gave their first names on the first group. It's actually Nicolette Esquivel and Dante Cortez.
Gotcha.
And everything. So the print was kind of small, so I was like, I'll just go with their first names. But great job to them. So Ian and Rayanne also runners-up. And then we had in boys doubles, we had finalists of Christian Altimarano and Jacob Cruz.
Nice.
And so great job to them. They're regional alternate qualifiers. And I'm going to give a shout-out to the Titan tennis team, too, because in our Titan Warrior stuff, I think that we had like 4 tennis players who are killing in our character development program and everything too. So shout out to Coach Gomez and Coach Beltran and all those kids as well. But good luck to them at regionals and in golf and in tennis is in Corpus. Golf is in Brownsville. So everybody's headed to the coast.
Nice. Sounds good. Well, hopefully this weather gives up a little bit because it's a little too cool to be over there right now. But overall, big shout out to our tennis student athletes and, of course, Savannah Blanco over in golf. It sounds like there's a lot of championships on the way for Southwest ISD. with that, you mentioned the Warrior program. Just kind of a recap, Coach, if you don't mind just telling the public again what that Warrior program means and why it's important that we have a few of those tennis athletes leading the way at Legacy.
So our Warrior program is a way that we quantify our culture. We want our kids we identify behaviors that we want our kids to really practice and create habits. And so we score those things. We put out challenges. We look at their grades. We look at how they're serving their community. And then we look at and how they're growing personally with book studies, with how they view different things. So we do all of those things, and we give them points, and those guys are scoring off the charts. So kudos to all of them. And I'll tell you what, the Dragon tennis team is good too. They're doing a great job, Coach Arceo and those guys. They got a great GPA as a team. Yeah. They're doing great things as well as in the character side of things.
Big congratulations. And if you don't mind, Coach, who was the original Warrior that inspired that program? I'd love to know a little bit.
I think his name was Oscar Salinas.
Oh, wow. Big shout out to our boy Oscar Salinas. But with that, let's go to continue on. So we have, you said powerlifting also did some great stuff too. I want to recognize
powerlifting had
guys.
A couple. We had Alfred Garcia who scored 10. It was 10th, and I think we had a legacy powerlifter. We had 3 or 4 of them that did great.
Awesome.
And so they got back from state powerlifting in Abilene. We had a few others that came back, and you put me on the spot, so I didn't have that.
No problem.
So I appreciate that.
No problem.
I apologize, Coach Molina and Coach Flores.
Big shout out to powerlifting, and then also I know we have baseball and softball still continuing before we get into our soccer conversation. We have Southwest Varsity Baseball will be at McCullum next Tuesday. Southwest Varsity Softball will be at South San next Tuesday. That will be before we do the podcast. Legacy Baseball will be at South San on Tuesday. And then Legacy Softball will be at Medina Valley as well on Tuesday. Any games for this week?
And don't forget that today's games got canceled today. They got moved to Monday. We don't have school on Monday, but we're playing baseball and softball on Monday. Mm-hmm. Those times are the same as usual, so we'll play JV at 4:30 in baseball and 5 in softball, and then both games at 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
and on Monday, and then we'll play again on Tuesday, and then we'll play again on Friday.
Man, stacked next week. But those games are going to be for varsity baseball. That's at Medina Valley. That's got moved to Monday for Southwest. Southwest High School varsity softball is at South Side on Monday now. And then Legacy Baseball is at South Side as well.
Huge races, especially in Dragonland with the Dragons dropped a big one on Tuesday night to Eagle Pass win in 8 innings after a rain/lightning delay until 10:30 at night and things like that, and lost in 8 innings. So they're 6-2. Eagle Pass win is 6-2. Then the next group is 5-3, 5-3, and 5-3. So there's 5 teams for 4 spots, and it's the same thing. And then if you look at the softball standings, it's South San pretty much is going to win the district, and then it's McCullum at 7-3, Southwest at 7-3, Medina Valley at 7-3.
Oh man!
And then I think Southside 6-4, something like that. So it's boom, 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 and every game's huge. So Southwest took it on the chin on Tuesday, and so they got a big game against Southside on Monday, and then turn around again and got another big game.
Yeah, well, we had that Fire and Armor baseball game this past week that we weren't able to really talk about yet, but I know that was a big one. Southwest gets the win there. However, I know they do play again here very soon as far as those two squads.
It's the last game of the season.
Yeah, so last game of the season, that's going to be on the 25th. So if you missed that Fire and Armor baseball game, Southwest went up 9-0. But Legacy has been battling, like we've been saying. That last game could be a big spot as things are kind of twisted and moving throughout the rankings as well. But overall, this show, we have a very special day for our students and student athletes in the soccer program. They are going to Brownsville here shortly as we're recording this podcast. And so with that, we want to just have a big celebration and shout them out and then kind of preview that game. So they are going to be going to Brownsville. And then if they win 2 games there, right?
So let's give the landscape.
Give the landscape.
So right now we're in the Region 4 5A regional semifinal. So in the grand scheme of things, we're in 5A boys. We're one of the last 16 teams playing in the state of Texas. And if you want to go all the way, there's less than 100 teams playing actually less than 50 teams playing in the state of Texas, girls and boys. And so great things that they've already accomplished, obviously. Great game last Friday against Cedar Park. So they take on, if they win, they play Mission Sharyland tomorrow at 4 o'clock in Brownsville. If they win, they play Saturday against the winner of Leander Rouse and Brownsville Lopez. And if they were to win that game, then they would play next. I want to say it's Friday, but I'm not going to don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the state semifinals. That would make them the Region 4 champions. And then we would play in Georgetown for the state semifinals, and we win that game, then you're playing for the state championship.
Ooh, 4 games away, people. 4 games. It all starts with tomorrow's game on the 7th. Southwest versus Sharyland. Southwest is 24-1. Sharyland is 17-5-2. Let's give a little tell the tape as it stands right now.
So Coach Jaramillo went down for us and did a little scouting.
Oh,
and
man.
Everything, right? So he reported back to me that he thinks that we're the favorite.
Yeah.
Now we'll see how that goes, because every team's good at this point, right, and stuff like that. But I think we're going in with a lot of confidence and everything. And so this would be we've been to the regionals. If you check it out, we've been to regionals the 3 out of the last 4 years. We've been to the regional tournament, not counting 2020, obviously.
Right.
Which, if you remember, in 2020 we were undefeated before the season got canceled and everything. So.
Could have been that.
Could have been, right? Yeah. So,
not to be
so
not to be
3 out of the
dismissive.
last 4 years that we finished the season, we've been to the regional. We've been to this round.
Yeah.
So it's time to, boom, take the next step.
Well, when we talk about it, 2020, yeah, you had undefeated season. This season, you've only lost once, and that was
And it was
long time ago.
Nor did we have Edson.
Yeah, and so Edson, speaking of, your 2 top playmakers for the Southwest Dragons, Edson Gonzalez, 29 goals on the season as it stands. One of the best pure athletes here at Southwest ISD, and I think also one of the better soccer prospects here in South Texas. You have Edson Gonzalez, and then you also got Hector Cristiano, who has 18 assists. So this team is very much a playmaking and a scoring team. Here is what gets me nervous. Sharyland and Southwest, right, through all of their games, both are first half teams from their scores. It's showing exactly how much the average is, right? Sharyland's averaging 2.2 goals in the first half. Southwest is averaging 3, right? Sharyland is averaging 2.3 in the second half, and then Southwest at 1.7. So right now, that averages out to about a final of Southwest getting almost a goal covered, right? So 4.6 to 4. They're very much in the same area, though. So it could be a very tight game.
But remember, how have the Dragons won all of these games?
They've won a lot of these big blowout games.
They've won games where they're up at halftime 4 and 5 and 6 to nothing.
Yep.
And so there's not a whole lot of they're playing back. They're not trying. I mean, there's some teams that we played, we could have beat them 20 to nothing, and that's not what it's about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think on the season recap, overall records, Southwest 24-1, Sharyland 17-5-2. What is interesting is in non-league play, Southwest is 3-1, their only loss. Sharyland's 0-1, and then away, Southwest is 9-0. They have not lost in an away game. Sharyland is 5-4-2, so not used to playing away. Whereas at their home, Sharyland's 7-1. So I mean, definitely the advantage is there for the Dragons to take advantage on the away side, and then even deeper because your boy came with the stats. National rankings, Sharyland is 180, Southwest is about 130, and then in Texas, Southwest is number 29 of 41, and within the region, Southwest is a top 6 team versus a top 12. So, I mean, you're talking about there's definitely differences there, and I think Southwest has the opportunity to go in and dominate. Weather should be an interesting factor.
Yeah, it's going to be a little rainy, a little humid.
Yeah.
A little interesting.
That definitely makes for an interesting soccer game, especially if the ball's too wet and slippery and things are looking.
It's going to be interesting, too, because, Southwest is going down tonight, so they'll spend the night down there and get ready for the game and things like that, whereas Sharyland's probably not spending the night. It's about a 45-minute drive to Brownsville. They probably don't have school.
Yes,
so,
true.
So they got depends on how you look at it, right? And so there's some of those factors, and then you got to turn around the next day if you win and do that, and they haven't done that since tournament season.
So with you being the athletic director, I have two questions for you. What is kind of your expectation as the athletic director? What are you hoping for, looking forward to? First, we'll answer that question. And then second, as a coach, what is your speech to these kids as they get on this bus leaving? I mean, we're having, a little send-off here at Southwest. So with that, what is kind of your – put on your coaching hat again, right, and look at it and say, what is your speech to these kids about, staying good, staying complacent within their game and not kind of, doing something maybe they're not comfortable with, playing their own game.
Yeah, I think anytime, we've been in a lot of playoff games, and the key to that thing is to understand what have you done to prepare for it.
Right.
Like have you gotten your sleep? Are you hydrated? Like that kind of stuff happens 2, 3, 4 days, and really it's a habit, right? And so how are you prepared? I know like Coach will send out, a couple days after we won, Coach had already sent out on SportsU the video for Sherryland and kind of, hey, watch your people, watch who you're marking, that kind of stuff. And so that kind of stuff, if you're doing it and you're doing it well, then that's the stuff you hone in on. You're like, what can we control? We can control how we prepare. We can control our effort. We can control how focused we are on what we're going to do. We can control how we behave, how we act, the focus that we have as a team, being a little loose, but when we get on the bus, it's something a little bit different. That's why this team goes out and goes to an out-of-town tournament to practice these things as well, because you don't want to be at the shot to go to state, and it's the first time you stayed in a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Because some of that can be a little weird if you don't do it very often. And so we've practiced all of those things so that that's not new. So now you're focused on what you can do. And at the end of the day, you don't control whether you win or lose necessarily. You only get to control your effort. You only get to control how you prepare. You only get to control how you respond to pressure situations, how you respond to adversity, how you do those things. The greatest lessons that we have to teach in athletics. And so those are what coaches talk about, is how hard are we going to play and how well are we going to execute? How well have we prepared? And let's go to work.
Yeah.
And if you've done those things and you don't come out on top, it is what it is. It's going to hurt. It doesn't matter. But don't leave anything. Don't leave a stone unturned is what we always said.
Yeah, to quote the one and only Carla Medina, my mother, it is all about when success is when preparation meets opportunity. Perfect opportunity, perfect
Amen.
Preparation. I think this team is
She is a smart and brilliant woman.
Mom, if you're listening,
I don't know what happened to you, but
come on. All I know is I'm not the Medina going to regionals and winning district championships like the other ones.
Yeah, good point.
But with that, we want to just wish the best of luck, and hopefully next week we're talking about a huge congratulations. But overall, regardless of the outcome, this team has accomplished a lot for this community. It's brought a lot of people together. Our own chief of police has been their biggest cheerleader and brought a lot of people into the sport that maybe weren't into the sport before. And so I think overall, this team is special. You see Edson, Gonzalez, and you see these guys scoring, playmaking, and just all around great kids and great individuals.
And we're young too. It's not like it's gonna be over this year. You got
well, not just that. We have Easy, partners coming in too that are helping as well.
You got Easy coming up as a freshman. You got Caleb as a freshman they're all playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then we got a group coming up still. So at both schools. So, soccer is healthy at Southwest ISD.
Well, we've talked about it on this podcast too. The number one sport that our middle schools and elementaries participate in whenever we put a call out is soccer. So this community can definitely hope, but also kind of expect that this is hopefully something we can make a norm of here at Southwest ISD, whether it's Legacy or Southwest. I think both are cheering for each other in the end, and I think as a whole.
One day, how cool would it be for Legacy and Southwest to be playing for a regional championship?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be incredible. And I think one day we'll see. We have a lot of partners coming in that are offering more opportunities for them to get, that take their talents and continue to work on their craft. And the Warrior program is a great program for those who are looking to also give back to the community. So I think as a whole, we are very excited for this team and very excited for what the future holds. Any other last words, Coach?
Good luck, soccer, man. Let's go Dragons.
That's right. Let's go Dragons. With that is Peter Wagner. I am Brandon Medina. This is your Scoreboard Podcast, all things for Southwest ISD Athletics. And until next time, like we always say, we are
Southwest.